Tell him about the time we faced them.
All right. Well, as I remember.
At Avenger headquarters.
Because united, the Avengers are strong.
Welcome to the MCU D&T Plus podcast with myself, Andy Stead.
I'm Jason Cutter. You know me as Jay Loki.
And I'm Jarian Gibson.
Cool, good stuff, guys. So, previewing.
Yes.
Previewing Black Widow, which is coming out. Actually, for me, it's coming out on the 7th of July. For you lot, it's coming out on the 9th of July. So I'm going to have to keep quiet for a couple of days.
I'm blocking you.
Actually,
I'll keep quiet.
I'm not going to block you, but just tell me if give me a thumbs up or thumbs down on Taskmaster, so I know what to expect. So I'm not hard.
So I can return my tickets.
Yeah.
You you feel that strongly about it, do you?
No, I'm going to see it no matter what.
Yeah. So am I. I don't know. I go back and forth about how they're going to portray Taskmaster in the MCU.
I can see just by your face, Joan, that you're quite nervous about it, actually.
Yes. Nervous, anxious, excited, stressed out, all the above.
Yeah. So, again, as we say, without joking, it's out on the 7th in the UK, and I think it's then out on the 9th on Disney Plus and everywhere else in the world in cinemas. I'm fortunate enough to go and see it on the 7th. So I'll be backing that up with episode 5 of Loki. So I'm looking forward to that. That day will be a great day for me. But yeah, so we thought we'd just put this episode together, didn't we, chaps? So we could preview Black Widow and just talk about Black Widow for 20-30 minutes, just purely on what our expectations are, what we've seen, what we're hoping to see, what we've seen at the moment so far in phase 4 with WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and where we're at with Loki, and what we might expect, how we might expect that to tie into Black Widow, what we've seen in the latest sort of news about projects that are happening afterwards, like Shang-Chi, and some of the news that we've had from some of the other projects on TV and on film, and how Black Widow might affect them. So yeah, I mean, go on, someone throw something out and let's crack on talking about Black Widow.
Let's let them in, Jarian. Come on, unleash.
I think the biggest thing here with Black Widow is what it's like you said, going backwards to go forwards, is setting up Thunderbolts, setting up Dark Avengers, all that kind of thing. I think we're going to see that new team be formed, whether it's Ross or Val or a combination of both.
And I think that's why they dropped that clip of Shang-Chi with the Abomination. I think something's going to happen in Black Widow that it would have spoiled it anyways.
I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Val at some point, like at the end or in a post-credit scene, recruiting Yelena. Because we know
that not been. I thought. Wait a minute. Has Val or Ross been? Has Ross been?
No. So Ross is confirmed in Black Widow. We know that.
Yeah. So absolutely.
Yeah, but after Falcon and Winter Soldier, they said that Val is originally supposed to appear in Black Widow and not Falcon and Winter Soldier. But because of the whole timing with Black Widow getting pushed out, she appeared first in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So we do know Val is going to make an appearance.
Oh,
in
that's
Black
interesting.
Widow.
So I wonder if Yelena was supposed to be the first recruit and not U.S. agent.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I could see like an ending towards the end or an end credit scene of Val recruiting Yelena.
I think we're going to
Nick Fury style.
I think we're going to get 100% Nick Fury. I think we're going to get 2 end credit scenes. I think Val recruiting Yelena could potentially be an end credit scene or mid credit scene, but I think that won't. I don't think that will be set at the same time in a movie. I think that will be set more around the same time as
after
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Or
whenever round about the same time as Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like Jason said, a la Nick Fury,
Iron Man, Shadows,
yeah. And then I really like the other. I think Jarian, it's your
my funeral theory, right?
Yeah, so, go on. Say it, yeah.
I could definitely see we're seeing either at the very end or the other post-credit scene is some kind of funeral scene with Clinton family. People say, well, she's close to Thor, she's close to Hulk, but her and Clint are like peas and carrots, right? And there's a kid he has, Nathaniel, named after her. So
that's right,
from Age of Ultron. So I think we'll definitely see something with some kind of funeral scene with Clinton family.
Well, that and I'm expecting that as well too, because I mean, it depending if they go Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers, but Hawkeye is a huge part of Dark Avengers. He led that team for a while, so
I think that, I mean, I think back to a lot of the scenes with Clint and Natasha, and you can see there's definitely that bond there. I personally, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's probably one of the best relationships in the MCU.
Yes.
Oh, hands down. It's the most solid, through even they're literally fighting each other. They're still best friends,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I think that's the best one, even more than Cap and Bucky, or even Tony and Rhodey.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, yeah, agreed. And I think that for me personally, the moment that sort of really cemented that for me, and it wasn't what everyone is probably going to think that I'm going to say, which is on Vormir. It wasn't that. It was before that. It was when they was on the spaceship going to Vormir, and they said, "Oh, it's a long way since Budapest," and they gave each other this little look, this kind of smile, and I just sat there and thought, these are two humans, like two normal humans. Yeah, okay, fine, they're master assassins or whatever, but they're just normal humans. They've got no superpowers. They've got nothing. They've got this long history together, and it reminded me of the scene in Avengers when they're sitting on the bed after Clint comes round.
That's what I was just going to bring up. That was when I noticed.
These are gods and monsters and nothing we've ever trained for. And you see them at the end, and they're together in this spaceship going to head towards Vormir to get a
what did we get ourselves into
time? And you're like, wow, like what a journey their relationship was taken.
So the wheels fall off.
100%. I think an end credit scene, and that personally for me is, well, not just for me, sorry. Looking forwards, that would tie into Hawkeye, which we're getting later this year as well.
Yeah,
that everybody seems to be kind of forgetting about that. I'm really excited about that series because I think there's going to be a lot of connections made to the rest of the series and movies within the Hawkeye one. Because like I said, he plays a big part in stuff like the Dark Avengers, obviously his relationship with Nat, his ties to the regular Avengers. So I think that's going to open a lot of doors.
Yeah, definitely.
But is Hawkeye going to be passing the torch though type of show, and instead of him kind of setting those things up?
I was thinking, what if it's kind of obviously he's passing the torch at first, but what if halfway through he starts turning bad, or not bad, but anti-hero again type of thing, and then she has to kind of snap him out of it and wrap him back around.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, she potentially could do that.
Like what if
as much as I don't want to stifle Hawkeye, but let's get back to Black Widow. And
So
I'm going to come straight back to you, Jarian, and I want you to go into one about Taskmaster.
Yeah. Yes. So Taskmaster is probably one of my most favorite characters in Marvel, being because he's been a hero, he's been a villain, he's been an anti-hero, he's trained SHIELD agents. Tony Masters has that photographic memory. He can see something, watch something, and boom, it's like a reflex. He can counter people and so forth. And if you haven't read the latest comic series of Taskmaster, that is a great series. I'm just waiting for the last one to come out on Marvel Unlimited. But this new one, he fights Hyperion.
That's a great scene.
Yes, exactly. That whole Hyperion fight was like, I want to see that in the MCU because
that's what I was talking about.
Taskmaster is.
Exactly. And that's what I was talking about with you, Jarian, earlier. It's like, I hope they do Taskmaster right where they don't make him a mindless, robot type, a la Winter Soldier, because part of his, character is his personality.
Yep, exactly.
It's amazing. It's almost a mix between Deadpool type comedy and Doom style arrogance.
And so, so I hope that they do them right. I do think that they're going to mix it up a little bit with technology. I see, I know that he records stuff, he watches stuff, but that suit that they shown in the Black Widow trailers, it looks like they maybe using more tech, kind of like what
that's
Tony
what I was saying
did.
too. I hope they don't go too much relying on his suit, his powers.
Think about Civil War though. When Tony did the countermeasures against Cap using Friday, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to play in part of it.
I'm hoping it's along those lines.
Yeah, but the trailers too, where you see I think that's Dreykov actually talking to Taskmaster,
booting him up in the back with something. Or
well, no, not boot him up, but he's like whispering something to him, like he's controlling him.
I'm talking about the most recent one where it shows somebody plugging
something into his helmet.
Yeah.
But I'm going back to the one trailer where I think it's Dreykov who's talking to Taskmaster, and he's whispering something to him. That gave me kind of feels of Winter Soldier.
The Winter Soldier. That's where you got the idea at first.
Robert Redford's character. I'm going blank right now. When he was telling Bucky, and you do this one more time for me, type of thing.
Yeah.
So this movie does give me some Winter Soldier type vibe. I wouldn't be surprised if there's two Taskmasters and one gets killed, and OT's character is the one Taskmaster going forward. Like maybe the first Taskmaster is all tech, and
like a trial run.
Yeah, like a trial run type,
or even like Doombot style.
Yep.
He sends out the robot ones, or Ultron type of thing.
Yep,
Send the
exactly.
robots, the minions, to do the dirty work.
And speaking of that, what if we see some Hammer tech or some AIM tech, and we see Adaptoids? Like, how does how does Taskmaster train not only video but physical training too to keep him ready? Are we going to see some form of Adaptoid? We know in the comics that Yelena is tied to a super Adaptoid of herself in the comics. So will we see some kind of tech there?
So the two, sorry, Jarian, I want to just go back on your two Taskmaster theory. Like there's two Taskmasters.
Yep.
That theory, is that grounded anywhere? Has there been two Taskmasters at the same time in the source material,
no,
or is it just a hunch that
I just think that there's going to be a twist in the MCU. Whether it's Dreykov's daughter, maybe originally. Maybe it's Rachel Weisz, Melania, because she has the Iron Maiden type vibe. Maybe she's the initial Taskmaster. She gets killed in a fight, and then OT is confirmed to be Tony Masters, and he's the Taskmaster going forward. Because we keep Dreykov's daughter was a key point mentioned in Avengers. Budapest, does both those two tie back to Budapest of what happened there in the movie? I think there's going to be some kind of twist with Taskmaster in this film. I don't know. It just seems
it's right up their alley. I can totally see.
And
like you said, there was never multiple Taskmasters in the comics or anything. It was always Masters. But this, like you said, Jarian, it's right up MCU style.
And my hunch comes from I don't know if it's me looking too much into the trailers and the screenshots, but Taskmaster at sometimes looks like he has two different body sizes.
Well, see, that my counter react to that, I remember we talked about it before, is I think that's him growing and learning, and with each fight, maybe he starts off not so bulky and stuff, but after each fight with Nat and all them, he's getting bigger and his suit's adapting and he's adapting, because that's his thing. He adapts to each fight.
And back to the Winter Soldier thing, I could see them controlling Taskmaster by saying, we'll let you know about your memories, your past, that kind of stuff, as a way of control if it's more aligned with the comic book Taskmaster.
And that's what I was thinking too, where I think Nat and her interrogations does stuff, because hand-to-hand combat, she can't hold a candle to Taskmaster. But with her style, interrogation and knowledge and intelligence, I think she's going to be the one to snap him out of that mind control type thing. And he's obviously not going to turn good, but he's going to go rogue, you know?
Because there's definitely some mind control going on here, especially with the Red Room, with all the other Black Widows. Absolutely. Which we think
in Age of Ultron, they set that up with Nat, So.
And if that's Dreykov that we saw in the preview, is he controlling the Red Room? Is there some kind of deal with Ross with technology and that kind of stuff? Because we know with the Thunderbolts, they're gonna have to start acquiring technology.
And with the new Shang-Chi trailer, we know Ross is making some backdoor deals.
Exactly. So. And we know after Civil War, Ross is pissed, right? The whole words. And then going into
Tony screwed him over in the end there. So
so we know that the Ross is pissed. Will we see any kind of hint of Red Hulk in this movie? Kind of like a Thanos, fine, I'll do it myself. Where Ross is like, Red Hulk, fine, I'll do it myself, type of thing too as well. But the other thing too is, what fighting styles are we going to see Taskmaster copy in this movie? Right? We definitely see we see Black Panther, we see Spider-Man in the previews, we see Hawkeye. We see Black Widow fighting style in the movies. He has a sword, and my first thought was Clint with the sword in game.
Deadpool.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was going. But Clint in the sword was after where this movie set, right?
Yeah, when he was Ronin.
So is he going to tease any kind of mutants in this movie, like Deadpool? We saw one sword. Are we going to see two swords? Are we going to see any mimicking? Arm Carr and I had a conversation about possibly mimicking Wolverine's fighting style. Other mutants. So is this going to be their tease to mutants? In the MCU?
Well, I could totally see that. It would be kind of a waste if they didn't, honestly. It's a perfect opportunity to just throw that little thing in just to tie us over.
So nice. we're seeing a lot of tells on his fighting style in the previews already, or Taskmaster's fighting style, because like I said, they could do a major twist with Taskmaster.
Nice. So I want to just dive into this this Thunderbolts thing, this whole theory of Thunderbolts. So and the time and where we
Time
are.
frame's huge.
Yeah, time frames. So let's go back to Civil War, because that's that in regards to before Black Widow. That's the last thing we've seen. Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
So
yes.
And let's think about Ross. Yeah. So in Civil War, let's think about Ross. What was he doing? He was trying to get the guys to sign the Accords,
yeah.
and he was almost trying to build a team then, wasn't he?
Yes.
He was. That was
or at
of
least
idea.
control the
Yeah,
team
control,
that
yeah.
was.
Right. Yeah. So that was the idea of the Accords. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
So obviously,
And I mean, if you think even further back to his just motivations at all throughout the entire universe, I mean, with the Hulk, he wanted to be able to control the Hulk. And, use him as a weapon.
weapon.
Yep. The
Yeah.
super soldier
So-
serum. He wanted to use that as well and
Yep.
try to perfect that.
So it's a common theme with Ross,
Yep.
isn't it? And it's a common theme with him in the comics and in the source
Yep.
material and in all the
It's
cartoons.
that typical, government type of figure where he wants to utilize all this power and stuff. So
Yeah, for sure. So he never got the chance to do that in Civil War. Okay, so the next time we're going to see him is he's going to be in Black Widow chronologically. Yeah. So now is he going after Natasha because she double crossed him and she let Cap and Bucky?
Cap, and Bucky.
Yeah, because she knocked out T'Challa, didn't she?
Yeah, she stunned him.
Yeah, she stunned him and let Cap and Bucky go. Or is he going after her to start? Is this where the idea of the Thunderbolts really does start? And is Taskmaster going to be sort of number one person?
And Black Widow just kind of gets caught in the mix of it all.
That's
of Ross
my point.
going after the Red Rooms and what they have and their intelligence and their stuff. So
I think Abomination probably is the first Thunderbolt because we know that he had him on ice.
he's already there. Yeah, he's been
and
into
now he's on the
Raft.
raft.
Incredible.
Yep.
Hulk.
So I think the Abomination is number one, and maybe we'll find out some backstory with Abomination.
Well, I think he's the first one that exists.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's going to be the first one technically recruited.
Correct. Yeah,
You know?
I think Taskmaster probably is the first one.
Yeah, and who were the sort of field commanders, the field leaders in the Thunderbolts when they went out and done a mission? I can't remember.
I know Zemo for a while was one.
Yes,
He was. Taskmaster took over for a little while.
Yep.
And
there were a few storylines where Yelena did.
Not Songbird. It was the
Songbird's
other lady.
DC.
The other lady who was not no, she's not Songbird. Oh, don't worry. Anyway, it wasn't her. It was another lady. Moon. Oh, come on.
Moon Dragon or something like that, or
No,
No,
not
Moondragon.
No, not
Moondragon's
Moondragon.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get rid of
a blank. I don't know.
I'm gonna figure it out in a minute. You carry on talking. But
anyways, I don't think we'll probably see any of those. Maybe they may hint at some of those other team members, but this movie is gonna be Taskmaster, Red Room, Yelena type focus on the Ross type of side, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna have some back history there with the whole family. So Red Guardian, Yelena, Melania, Natasha. We're definitely gonna get the backstory. We're definitely gonna, Budapest is gonna be a big theme about, from the past coming into this. I think, because again, I think that's Dreykov, that guy, the old man we keep seeing.
And is that is Ray Winston? Ray Winston's in it. Is that who's going to be Dreykov?
Yeah, I think
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So
I've got to admit, I actually never watched the second trailer. I was like, no, I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to I'm going to stay away from it because I wanted to go. And I usually do that with movies. Or I have done that with all Marvel movies. I've watched the teaser, watched the first trailer, and then stayed away from the second trailer. But now that I've got involved with,
that's what I like that's what I like about the MCU is most movies. I'm on the same page as that because it ends up ruining the movie and they give away too much. But the way the MCU twists things and the way they lie in the trailers, you kind of have to watch them all.
Remember Infinity War? Remember Infinity War? Yeah, Moonstone. There you go.
Moonstone.
I was just about
Carla Softener or something. But
that's it.
She took the lead for a while.
She did, didn't she? That's what I was thinking. But my point, if I rewind back to what I was kind of getting at, then it wasn't necessarily. Thank you. It wasn't necessarily about who they're going to recruit. I was trying to get my head around who
the leader
was. Yes, who
Yeah.
was
Who
the
would,
leader?
yeah, who would take the reins?
So yes, okay, he's got Abomination in the.
Yeah,
his
and
back
he's not
pocket.
gonna. Yeah.
He's not going to lead a team, is he?
No.
out
No.
there of Thunderbolts?
He's gonna be like the Avengers Hulk. He's just
Yep,
there
smash.
to smash. You know?
Exactly. So who's your Tony Stark? Who's your Cap?
I think
who
your
are you?
initial leader is going to be Taskmaster.
Yes.
It
That-
seems
I
Yeah,
honestly,
that's
I
what they're
don't see Zemo being on the team. The
Yeah,
way
not at
his
the time, yeah.
character has evolved, I'm not working together with you people. I have my own,
especially if there's a super soldier serum involved. He's not going to be
Exactly.
involved.
exactly.
But we know,
because he's.
but we
very
do know he's on the
against
raft
us.
though. He's on the raft now though. So
Was he? No, I thought.
Yep.
No, they said
Wakanda
they was
took him.
taking. Yeah, no, they said they was taking him to the raft.
yeah, at
Oh,
the end of
that's
Falcon
right,
Winter
yes.
Soldier. Yep.
Yes,
So he's on
yes.
the raft now. So
Because I remember that I was like, why is Wakanda taking him to the
Yeah.
raft?
But so let's think about that in relation to this movie. That's
down the line. Same thing
Years.
with US Agent down the line.
6
Yeah.
years. US agent 7 years
Yeah.
after. So,
So-
when he's Black Widow, what year is that?
That's going to be after
18?
Civil War.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, so 16.
17-ish, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2016, 17.
Yeah.
So we're talking 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
At least.
US agent, we're seeing Val in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mhm.
Is 7 years after what we're going to see,
Yep.
next week.
I wonder if they go into during that time where Val's still good and in cahoots
Ooh.
with Fury and
Oh,
they
yeah.
delve into that relationship
Yep.
and because
Yeah,
she
'cause
did.
they
She
had a
started
funny
out. She
relationship,
started out
didn't
with Shield.
Yeah.
Before she went off on her own.
But also too, think about the time frame where Natasha let out all of Shield's and Hydra's secrets after Winter Soldier. So is that the time frame when Val starts going more bad and
yes.
aligning with Ross?
Right,
So-
there you go. That's my
Yeah.
point. I wonder whether we're going to see in this movie, or we're going to see Ross recruit Val.
Maybe I could see it.
Is that who he's recruiting?
Or Val come to Ross say, "Hey, I got something
Yeah. I got what you need. You got what I need. Let's let's put it together.
But I definitely
Yeah.
think the initial leader will be Taskmaster. Maybe we'll see some
Yes.
back history, kind of like we saw with Winter Soldier and the assassinations and things that he was doing throughout time. Maybe we'll see some backstory of, once they lost that whole thing with Winter Soldier, that's where Taskmaster came in, and that's where Taskmaster started changing courses of history, maybe.
So I've been thinking about something since 2 days ago. I think someone put something on the group about where where everything's going. Yeah. And I wrote, there's been lots of things sort of confirmed and other things that have been heavily into. So, the secret invasion has been confirmed.
Yep.
Obviously, we know that's happening. Huge cosmic, event. Everybody's involved.
Yep.
It's huge. Then we're talking about secret wars as well. There's sort of multi-dimensional, God Doom and that kind of side of thing. Again, huge multiverse, loads of different things going on. And then I went, and also Thunderbolts. And I was like, hold on a minute. That was kind of like a not a smaller story, but a more real story, more grounded kind of stories,
Yep.
wasn't it?
Mm.
So I wonder whether they're going to go, and we haven't had no confirmation that Thunderbolts is happening. We're all just
No.
speculating.
Or,
about it.
we're theorizing it, but
Yeah, we are. So are we going to go massive and go multiverse and end up with Quantum Mania and Fantastic Four and Kang traveling through time and Secret Wars-esque stuff? And also, alongside that, we've got the Thunderbolts.
level.
And,
Yeah.
street level
No,
Thunderbolts.
absolutely.
stuff
I
Yeah,
can
I
totally see
think
that
so.
because I see the MCU focusing obviously heavily on, the villain side of things, nowadays. And I think they're going to do a complete divide and conquer.
Yep.
You've got Doctor Strange, who obviously, up against a character like Batrock or something is, it's a piece of cake, but he's going to be off in the multiverse trying to deal with that stuff. So that leaves, some of the street level heroes to have to deal with them. And I think that's why like Shang-Chi is stepping up because, the 10 rings are filling that power void and there's no heroes in, on that level to take care of it. So that's how we're going to get a lot of these new ones.
hey, and maybe think about this though. Remember we had the conversation about the movie lineup, and there's 2 unnamed movies. We know that the late one in Phase 4 is going to be Fantastic Four, but there's
Last
one
one,
before that. But we think that's around Halloween. That could be Blade, but Blade keeps getting changed around because of writing and that kind of stuff. What if that movie's a Thunderbolts movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
It would
I mean-
definitely give reason for them to not, announce
Yeah.
it. Because the buildup hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
And I
because-
do. I don't think. Unfortunately, I think Blade's going to be pushed to phase 5.
Yeah, I
But,
think so too.
So I think that movie. I think there's a reason why they haven't given it a name yet.
Yeah, because remember they kept pushing back Black Widow. Right?
Mhm.
They could have done Disney Plus release. They kept pushing it back. There's a reason why they're pushing it back.
Exactly. And it has nothing to do with Corona and, them taking a stand to get it back in theaters.
Exactly.
There's a strategic reason.
Yeah. And think of the shows we're getting too. Think about we're getting Armor Wars. We know that's probably going to tie to it.
Mhm.
We already had Falcon and Winter
Secret
Soldier.
Invasion.
That's going to tie to it. Secret Invasion could tie to it as well. So think about the shows and the other movies that we're getting back as well. Also, too, the whole debacle with Spider-Man and him being outed. Is any of that going to tie into Thunderbolts and this anti-hero type team?
Mhm.
So there is some breadcrumbs here that are out there that that could be a Thunderbolts movie going forward.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah.
But
definitely.
but yeah, we're talking Taskmaster and Thunderbolts. I just want to say one thing. This is going to be Natasha's swan song, right? Because we know this is probably her last film for now in the MCU. So yes, I'm all nervous about Taskmaster, and I'm a huge Taskmaster fan. But overall, I hope they do this right for Natasha's exit for now from the MCU.
Which is going to be hard because chronologically, it's not her swan song.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
So how do you give her that goodbye when she's already had her goodbye?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's weird. But I mean, obviously, I have faith in the MCU. I know they're going to kill it, but it's got my brain thinking like, I wonder how they're going to, give her that sentimental send off.
Yeah.
You might even find, I wonder whether they've managed to bookend the movie with scenes from now. So
I could totally see that.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I mean,
So
they always find ways to, look at the Loki series where, they did the flashbacks of,
the tape.
or the future looks into it, just
Yeah,
to throw in
so-
those scenes from other movies. And
it could be they could do that, and it's almost like they're just showing you this little bit, not a little bit, but a huge bit in the middle. And it's bookended by what's happening now with maybe not a mid-credit scene or an end-credit scene, like Jarian was saying, but an actual moment in the main movie itself where you do see a Natasha funeral.
yeah.
Or maybe even like they did at the end of Endgame with the main team up of heroes, where they had that montage in the credits of that. Maybe we get a montage of Natasha moments in the MCU.
That would be. That would be great. I would love that. That would be very well done and classy.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, that would be really nice. But yeah, I think actually, I'm glad you brought it back around to Natasha and Scarlett Johansson there, Jarian. I was going to do that myself because we kind of flew off on a tangent that I got involved in myself and didn't bring it back. But yeah, I think actually, if nothing else, this should be an homage to Black Widow.
She deserves it.
To Scarlett Johansson as well as an actress. I think she's done a fantastic job.
Exactly.
Really, in the last 10, 11 years.
Absolutely.
I mean, even just
the
Avengers.
Exactly. And, it's being that role model that, Black Widow had to be throughout the MCU as, the main female figure. And, there was a lot on her shoulders and she handled that character so well, so classy. So, perfectly. She deserves the respect.
Yeah, I agree. And I must admit, I wasn't overly, not necessarily over infused about the casting. I wasn't sort of going, I think it should have been somebody else. But I was just like, Scarlett Johansson. Okay.
I admit, I thought the same thing. I thought it was going to be similar to what's her name playing Mystique, where it's like she doesn't seem like her heart goes into the role.
Which one? Rebecca Romijn Stamos or Jennifer Lawrence?
No, Stamos is the best.
It's got to be Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah, I
know her whole thing where she was like, she didn't like doing the makeup and yada yada, like that type of actress. But no, she's put it in. She's put the work in for Black Widow. She's put the time, the effort, and the care into that character.
100%, totally agree. And I think that I think it's great actually that she's going to be getting the focus of attention. For
yes.
2 hours.
I love how they're talking about we're going to go back and see her history. Budapest touching, the Red Room touching. Her going back and seeing family, and then having this battle. So it seems like we're going to get a kind of a history of Natasha in one film.
Yeah, and I think it'll add depth. It'll add depth to her character when people go back and rewatch her other movies. So
absolutely. I mean, especially with a character like Black Widow, where so much is hidden and what's the word? but basically, holes in her story because
Yep.
she's a spy. They don't tell it all. I think them filling in gaps for this with this movie and kind of concreting all the characters she was all along. I think it'll be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm also kind of surprised too. They didn't give her like a series though, kind of type thing, like her adventures through Shield type of stuff. Her recruiting to Shield.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she pops up and stuff. So.
All right then, lads. Well, look, I think we've previewed Black Widow nicely there. By the time everyone gets to hear this, they'll only have 4 to 5 days before they can go and see it. And our next episode that they listen to will be a Loki episodes 4 and 5, and
Yes.
a bit of a Black Widow review
Yeah.
as well. So just as a note to anybody that is listening to the podcast, we are going to do a Black Widow review. It is probably going to come out on June 12th.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you haven't seen Black Widow by then, don't listen to the Black Widow review episode.
July 12th.
Yeah, we'll put the
July
disclaimers
12th,
up.
thank
In,
you,
yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we'll keep that episode separate as a separate recording from Loki episodes 4 and 5. That subject, so you can listen to the Loki episodes 4 and 5 if you've seen those. But we will be releasing that a few days after the movie. So I think it goes.
And until then, get your last minute theories about Black Widow up into the group. See what you got to say. We're coming down to the wire now.
Yeah, and talking about the group and talking about spoilers and theories and blah, 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 blah. And we haven't finalized it yet, have we? But there will be a spoiler banning on the group.
Which will be a lot longer than the normal 24 hours that we do for the series.
Yeah, I think 72 hours possibly we're kind of floating around.
At least 3 days.
Yeah.
So we're still working on it in the mod team. So
but it will be coming up, and we'll put it in place it'll have to be in place from the 7th.
Right. Because the group has only been started before any movies were released. Black Widow is going to be the first movie released while the group is active. So
yeah, exactly. And I think where it's such a strange release as well, where it's being released 2 days earlier in the UK, and then it's being released on Disney Plus premiere as well, and in a cinema. I mean, so people like myself, I can't wait to go and see it in the cinema. It wasn't even a fault of seeing it on Disney Plus. So if I couldn't have got in on the Thursday or Friday, it might have ended up being a Saturday. So to only put 24 hours in, yes, okay, it's available on Disney Plus and you can get it now. But for people that do want to go and sit in the cinema, a lot of us have been cooped up, not being able to go to the cinema for a long time. So we are going to give people a few more days to not get spoiled on our group at least. But we will have a spoiler. Fred.
Always do. Yep.
So people will be able to speak about it in one place on our group, but they will be hopefully be devoid of spoilers for at least 3 or 4 days after the release.
Yeah, our members are really good about that. So.
Yes.
Yeah. All right then, guys. So we're happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Same
Fantastic.
thing. Make sure you guys join and like and the page MCU D&T Plus. Also get your stuff into the group. Head over to Instagram MCU_DT. Follow us along on the podcast. I love hearing from you guys.
Excellent. Speak to you all soon.
Why don't you tell them about the time we